Baruch Hashem, we finally made it to the blessings on the Heilige Teda. Baruch Atah Adonai, blessed are you Hashem, Eloheinu, our God, Melech HaOlam, King of the world, King of the universe. Asher Kiddeshanu b'mitzvosav, that you sanctified us with your commandments. Vitzivanu, and you commanded us, la'asok, to engage in or to engross in, b'divrei, in the words of Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah. V'ha'arev na, and please sweeten, and sweeten please, Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoseinu, Hashem our God and the God of our forefathers, es divrei Seirasecha, the words of your Torah, bifinu, in our mouths, uvfi, and in the mouth, amecha, your people, base, the house of Israel. V'nihyeh anachnu, and v'nihyeh, and let us be, anachnu, all of us, v'tze'etzaenu, and our offspring, v'tze'etzae, and the offsprings, amecha, your people, base, the house of Israel. Kulanu, all of us, yodei, should know, shemecha, your name, Vilomedei, and we should be learning Sayrasecha, your Torah, lishma, for her sake, for its own sake. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you Hashem, hamilamed, the teacher, the teaching, the one teaching. Torah, hamilamed Sayra le'amo Yisrael. Hamilamed Torah, the one who teaches Torah le'amo, to your people, to his people Israel. And then the second one is Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you Hashem, Eloheinu, our God, Melech HaOlam, the King of the universe. Asher, that Bachar chose, Banu, and us, Mikol, from all, Ha'amim, the peoples, V'nasan, and he gave us, Lanu, V'nasan, and he gave, Lanu, us, Es, Toiraso, his Torah, Baruch, blessed, Ata, are you, Adonai, Hashem, no sane, the giver, ha-Torah, of the Torah. And here's the proper nigun we say. There's two, I'll start with the main one. When you get called up to the Torah, you say, Baruch Hu es Adonai hamevayrach, and the congregation repeats, Baruch Adonai hamevayrach le'olam va'ed. And you repeat with them, or after them, Baruch Adonai hamevayrach le'olam va'ed. Then you say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'nasan lanu es torasoi Baruch atah Adonai nosein ha'torah. Or if it's a Yom Tov, you say Baruch Hu es Adonai hamevayrach. And the congregation repeats, Baruch Adonai hamevayrach le'olam va'ed. And you repeat with them, Baruch Adonai hamevayrach le'olam va'ed. And then you say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'nasan lanu es toraso Baruch atah Adonai nosein ha'torah. It's very important once you say both those blessings that you say at least one verse of Torah to fulfill, to make that bracha like worth it, so to speak, right? So what you're doing when you say that blessing, both those blessings, is you are saying, essentially you're saying, the Torah is a pleasure that you have given me. And all the world's pleasures are available to me to partake in, so long as they're permitted to me as a Jew. And before I engage and take those pleasures, like food, or good smells, or good drinks, or anything I eat, or anything I consume, and also Torah, something that I'm going to consume, something that I'm consuming. Before I consume it, I'm making a blessing before I consume it. And then I also, once I finish consuming whatever that is, I also make an after blessing. And that's where the idea, it says in the Torah, you shall eat, you shall be satiated, and you shall bless Hashem your God. So that's the source for where we get the idea that before and after we get pleasure in this world, we have to bless Hashem and thank Him. So there's no after blessing for Torah because you're never satiated. You can eat it all day long and never be full. You can get all the wisdom you want and there's still more available. That's the nature of learning and growing in this world. And so since we can't make an after bracha, but we haven't gotten the pleasure of learning yet, we still have to get the hana, right? You say a blessing on a beverage or a food, and then you immediately eat it, because you don't want there to be an interruption between you making that blessing and using Hashem's name and saying, this pleasure that you're giving me, I'm going to partake in right now. Thank you very much for the permission that I can partake in it, and I'm not going to steal it from you and steal it from this world. I'm going to actually bless you and then eat it very fast. Well, you don't eat fast, but you bless and then you eat immediately or drink immediately. So too with Torah. You make the blessing and then you say pretty much any passage that you want in Torah, or any passage or idea that you want in learning, like in the Gemara or the Talmud. But there's a custom in Klal Yisrael to say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, the blessing of the Kohanim, that Aaron, the brother of Moses, gives, and all of his descendants give to this day. They give the congregation a blessing every morning in Shachris, every morning in the morning prayer. They give a blessing. They say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Ya'er panav Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Something didn't go wrong, actually, Siri. Something went very right. I was giving a blessing. So, and then it goes, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. So, if you're familiar, the translation from the beginning to the end is He should bless you, Hashem, and He should protect you. And the second line, Ya'er, He should enlighten to you, Adonai, Hashem, Panav, His countenance, Elecha, towards you, V'chuneka, and He should be gracious to you. Yisa, He should lift up, Adonai, Hashem, Panav, His countenance, Elecha, towards you, V'yasem, and He should place, Lecha, for you, Shalom, peace. So, those three lines, those three blessings are the blessing. We say those are words of Torah. Those are actually written down in the Torah. And that's the commandment that Hashem gave the Kohanim, the children of Aaron, and Aaron and all his descendants, to bless the Jewish people every day in the morning prayers. That's the blessing they say. And that's also the passage that our sages of blessed memory have chosen for us to recite as the words of Torah that we say as soon as we make the blessing on the Torah in the morning, that we're going to have a great time learning Torah all day. We cite those words of Torah. So have in mind when you're reciting it that you're learning Torah when you say it, because it's important that you fulfill the commandment of learning as soon as you make that blessing. So a lot of people also have the custom to continue by saying a Mishnah, because that's most commonly known as a prayer. Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha is a prayer. So they skip to Elu Devarim Shadam Ochel Peroseihem B'Olam Hazeh VeHakeren Kayemes Lo L'Olam Haba Elohein Kibur Avayim. Sorry, Elu Devarim She'en Lahem Shiur. These are the things, Elu Devarim, these are the things, She'en, that there is no, Lahem, for them, Shiur, there is no measure. HaPeya, the Peya, which is the corner, like Payas now. So, Peya is the corner of the field. Hashem commanded every person who owns a field to leave the corner, not to harvest the corner, no matter what they're growing, basically, to leave the corner for poor people to come and take. HaPeya v'habikurim. There's also no limit right? So there's no limit, right? So you can have a corner. You could also just let the whole thing be free to the poor people, or you could let half the field. It doesn't matter. There's no measure. There's a minimum measurement, but there's no maximum measurement of how much you give of the corner of your field. Bikurim, the first fruits. When you grow any fruit tree, there's a commandment to Hashem gave us that when you grow fruit tree in the land of Israel, the first fruits, which is not the first 3 years actually, but the fourth year, because the first 3 years are called Orla, and you're not allowed to consume those at all, I think. And, well, this is a sugya here that I'm not too familiar with, but either the first 3 years or the fourth year, you take the first fruits and you give them as an offering at the temple to the Kohanim, and they make an offering for Hashem, or it's a gift to the Kohanim for just to have as the priests. And Kohen means priest. It's also the last name of a bunch of my friends, and they're direct descendants of Aaron HaKohen and Levi. Levi was the son of Jacob. Jacob was the patriarch extraordinaire, the son of Isaac, and Isaac was the son of Abraham. And so, Bikurim, the Harayon, also the visage, the being seen. So there's Passover, Shavuos, and there's Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Those are the three big holidays that are Yomim Tovim, good days that you go to, that everyone's supposed to go to Israel and offer something. Everyone's supposed to go to the old city in Israel and give a certain offering. And there's no limitation on, I guess, how many times you show up beyond those three, perhaps, is what that means. There's no limitation for that. Gemilus chasadim, doing kind deeds. You're never going to fulfill your obligation to do kind deeds. You can always do more kind deeds. V'salmud Torah. And also, there's only a minimum share. You have to learn Torah twice a day, but there's no maximum. You can learn forever, and you still have to learn more as long as you're alive. And same with all those other ones. So that's learning. And actually, I just learned those for the first time. Like, I never actually sat down and learned those. So we should be zaycha also. We should merit to, when we actually learn, we should be learning, even though it's familiar. And we actually pray, we should be praying. We should listen to the words we're saying and think about what they actually mean. So the point of those words is to stop praying, I think, is to stop praying for a second, because you just said the blessings on the Torah. You're going to stop praying for a moment. You're going to learn a little bit. So I don't know if reciting by rote those words, like you recite the rest of davening, is going to qualify as learning. Just a thought in learning, actually. So I think I have to learn a little bit starker when I say these. I don't think I ever learned these. Okay, and then you continue for another Mishnah. So the first Mishnah was in Peah. That's the first Mishnah in Peah, chapter 1, Mishnah 1. And then you have in Shabbos, you have a Gemara now. We're bringing a Gemara from Shabbos, Daf Kaf Chuf Zayin Amud Aleph. That's 137, the first side of it, side A. Elu Dibarim, She'adam Ochel Perosehem. Elu Dibarim, these are the things, She'adam, that a man, Ochel, eats, Perosehem, their product, their fruit, Ba'olam Hazeh, in this world, V'hakeren, and the principle of the investment, so to speak, Kayemes Lo, remains for him, La'olam Haba, in Olam Haba, in the world to come. Yes, there is, as we saw in the 13 Principles of Faith song, Yigdal, there is a Olam Haba, there is a world to come. There is a heaven and a hell. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in heaven, you're going to get, you're not going to any goodness that you get in this world from doing the following things that are going to be outlined right now. Any benefit you derive in this world doesn't diminish the benefit that you're going to get as a result of doing it for Hashem when he's going to reward you for it later, right? Because there's a concept like the amount of pleasure you take is potentially going to have a direct correlation with the amount that you'll get later. So not taking as much now is going to help you later. You're going to get more later. It's like delayed gratification. But for these particular things, there's no benefit that you're not going to receive as a result of receiving benefit now. And the following are them. The Eluhaim, these are they. Kibud av va'em, honoring father and mother. You honor your parents, they're going to be very happy. They're going to be happy, and you're going to be happier because you honored them. Guess what? That doesn't take away from what you're going to get later. Gemilus chasadim, doing kind deeds. Again, they're good for people here, and therefore good for you here. It's not going to take away later. Hashkamas beis hamidrash shachris va'arvis. Hashkamas, waking up, beis hamidrash, and studying, going to the house of study, shachris, in the morning, early in the morning, the arvis, and late and at night. That's going to benefit you now and later. Exact amount will be the same. V'achnasas orchim. V'achnasat, bringing in orchim, visitors. Ubikur, and visiting cholim, sick people. V'hachnasas kala, and to also bring in a bride, to take care of a bride, to take care of visitors. Ulvayas hames, levaya. A levaya is not a eulogy, but a procession, a funeral procession. Contributing to someone's funeral in some way is going to help you a lot later too. The iyun tefillah, being very concentrated in prayer, and no, not concentrated, but thinking deeply about the words you're saying, not just saying them by rote, like actually thinking about all the words you're saying while you're praying. The havas shalom bein adam lachavero, basically turning prayer into study. It sort of seems like. The havas shalom, and bringing peace, bein adam lachavero, between a man and his fellow. The salmud Torah, and the study of Torah, keneged kulam, is equivalent to all of those combined. So, B'ezrat Hashem, we should study Torah. Hey.